he's not around. He's not, a god they can turn to for guidance. So how do they justify their actions without his direct leadership?
That's where the reclusion comes in.
The reclusion.
It's a form of deep meditation, a ritualistic introspection.
Okay.
That allows them to connect with their inner selves.
Interesting.
With the spirit of the chapter.
So instead of seeking external guidance,
Mm-hmm.
they just turn inwards.
You could say that.
Seems a bit subjective, don't you think?
It is.
How can they be sure they're not, being misled by their own guilt and biases and all that?
It's a question that likely haunts them.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous path, one that could easily lead to fanaticism.
Which brings us back to this whole idea of redemption.
Right.
If they're constantly acting out of guilt and shame, can they ever truly achieve atonement?
That's the ultimate dilemma, isn't it?
It is. Are they genuinely trying to cleanse themselves, or are they just,
Or are they doomed to repeat their past mistakes?
Yeah.
It's a tragic cycle of violence and secrecy.
Fueled by an obsession that might never be satisfied.
And yet, it's also what makes them so compelling, don't you think?
More for sure.
The Dark Angels, they're a study in contrasts, a chapter torn between duty and obsession, loyalty and betrayal.
It's like complex.
They remind us that even the Emperor's finest aren't immune to the temptations of darkness.
And that their flaws are what make them human.
Even if they're superhuman warriors,
right.
Their story is far from over, though.
Well, that's for sure.
As the Imperium faces new threats, the Dark Angels they'll continue to walk their shadowy path.
Forever haunted by the ghosts of Caliban.
Exactly.
So after hearing all of this, why should our listener care?
That's a good question.
Why should the internal struggles of a bunch of secretive space marines matter to us?
Because it reflects a fundamental truth about humanity, I think.
Even in this fantastical setting of Warhammer 40A.
Even in the 41st millennium, we're all shaped by our past, by the choices we make, the consequences we face.
The Dark Angels are an extreme example, sure.
They are.
But they remind us that even the most noble intentions can be twisted.
Absolutely.
That even those striving for righteousness can stumble and fall.
And their story serves as a warning. Be wary of those who operate in the shadows, demanding unquestioning loyalty and silence.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
Because even in a galaxy consumed by darkness and war, the most dangerous enemy might be the one you thought you could trust.
That's a chilling thought.
It is.
Speaking of trust and secrecy, let's talk about how the Dark Angels' unique organizational structure reinforces their secretive and unforgiving